Paris is full of impressive sporting facilities, from the iconic Stade de France, the scene of famous Springbok victories, including a World Cup final win in 2007. In other parts of the city, one finds more stadia familiar to South African rugby. The Stade de France, where Paris Saint-Germain Football Club plays, was for years the setting for matches between France and South Africa when the Boks were on tour. And right next door, the Stade Jean Bouin, the home of the Stade Francais rugby team, is where many Springboks like Vincent Koch and Mornay Steyn have played club rugby. Paris has a rich history of rugby culture, and one that the Boks thrive in. And they will need to be firing on all cylinders from the off against their old foes, as Boks Scrum coach Dan Himan underlines.
I suppose the start is always a good thing. I would say the most important thing is to finish well, obviously, because the game has only been won in the 80th minute, or sometimes it might be longer. But it's obviously a thing that we concentrate on and we will work on. But I suppose like the New Zealand team, they will be the same. But it's obviously, they've been very good, especially in the very first game when we played against them. They got us, I think the first 20 minutes, they were leading 17-0. But they played well. I think and ever since the last time that we played against them, I think it's been 6 or 7 games later. So obviously they made a hell of a progress in their scrums, I can tell you that.
South Africa versus New Zealand in the Rugby World Cup final immediately brings back memories of 1995 for all South Africans. And everyone, just like Himan, and those old enough, know where they were on the day of the final 28 years ago.
We were at the neighbor's house as a family, 2 big families. We watched it together, and there wasn't enough chairs. I remember that. I was sitting on the ground with my 2 brothers. So, no, it was a very good memory. I don't think I could understand actually what it meant back when we beat them today, thinking back now. I mean, it's almost 30 years ago, 28 years ago. I'm getting older also. Anyway, yeah. So it was a great memory. I remember the festive vibe that's been in the country, and it meant a lot for the country.
For the players like lock forward Jean Klein, the prospect of facing the haka in the final will only add to the sense of occasion.
I think it's a fantastic tradition, and I think it's very much part of world rugby. I think it's one of the coolest things in world rugby, but it's just part of a game day against New Zealand. You know, it's one of the things you have to face, and actually, I played that game at Twickenham. It was my first time facing the haka, and it was a cool experience. Yeah, it's something they do, and we'll honour it.
When the Springboks do allow themselves to stop and take in the sense of occasion, it won't be for very long. Himan says the planning will begin again as soon as the events of Saturday play out.
In Rugby World Cup year is only, every 4 years. And I think you're only champion, how can I say, for that night that you actually win it. The next day, I learned it from a coach of me in Toulouse, Guinoves. He said to me, listen, and what's tomorrow? I asked him, what are you up to tomorrow? He said, I'm start planning for the next one. So I think that will be, it's definitely our motto as well. Take every game, we don't look further, which I think we can make a mistake if you look further than the next game. Luckily, there's only 1 game left. We can only look at 1 game from the moment. So yeah, I wouldn't say it makes us the best team ever in the world, never. What I can tell you is we will be very proud.
The week of the final seems to be the longest stretch in an already very long tournament. World Rugby will be introducing a more streamlined event in Australia in 2027. But while the product needed to be tweaked, a final pitting South Africa and New Zealand against one another remains a dream match for the rugby world. Simon Burke, SABC News, Paris, France.